Hey guys, how are ya? Oh, I'm breathless. I just had to run across 2 lanes of a very busy street. But let's see. So it's 114 degrees. It's supposed to be 115 or something today. And of course I'm out at the hottest time of the day, 10 minutes of 4 in the afternoon. So as you know, I have been talking about how tired I am of not having a car. I've looked into buying cars. I have looked into leasing cars. Excuse me. Cat hair. I've looked more into leasing cars. Now I've looked into cars in general. And I kind of have my heart set on a kind of car that I want. I found out from friends for a certain recommendation for a car dealership. I've done some research in terms of what leasing a car entails, benefits, pros, cons, that kind of stuff. And so now I've taken 2 bus rides to get to Henderson Superstore Hyundai. The car I kind of wish I could get is called a Venue in denim. That's the one I would like. I'd also settle for a Kona. Both of them lower price points for Hyundai. If I get the car, I'll tell you why I went with Hyundai. But right now it's maintenance and a whole bunch of good stuff. So let's see what happens. I don't see the car I want on the lot, but that doesn't mean it's not here. All right, cross your fingers. I could use some luck here. All right, so this is very strange. First off, no masks required if you're fully vaccinated, which was great. I walked in, a very nice young man said, "What would you like to look at?" And I said, "The car." They have one, and he's just grabbing keys. So far, this is a great experience. I thought I'd need an appointment, or I just walked in by chance, but am I just getting lucky?
I mean, this is the last one. So
I'm getting very lucky. All right, thanks. So far, so good. I literally just walked in here like 2 minutes ago and met this young man, Keenan, who asked how he could help me. And I said, I'm interested in leasing a car. He goes, "You know which one?" I said, "Yeah, it's the Venue in denim." And he goes, "We only have one." I'm like, "Oh, I know, I saw it." Because I did look for it and I found it. Or a Kona. That's the 2022 Kona right there. I'm not in love with the color, but and so he just asked for my license. I'm assuming that means a test drive, and then we'll sit down and talk. I was just looking at my numbers, and you know, I'll sit down and talk with you more about this in depth, but I was looking at my pay stubs over the past year, and I'm thinking, what I make now, like I made last year was a great pay raise. This was an okay pay raise. I'm looking at my numbers going, I can do this. I can do this. Hi. All right. Thank you.
go ahead and play that.
Great. God, this is so different. I feel like a fool for having gone to drive time last time, because this experience, even now, like in 3 minutes, has been so different. So different. In fact, the chick who I spoke with, not to diminish her, not to disparage her, the hustler that I spoke with at drive time, she's called me twice to say, "Hey, you know, how you doing? Are you still interested in the car?" And I want to answer the phone because I see it's her when she's calling. I want to answer the phone and go like, "You guys tried to rip me off like I was hopeless or helpless. How dare you call me?" You know, but all right. So he's pulling the car up. We're getting ready for a test drive. I can't film it because I don't have a car mount or anything, but you know, I'll let you know all about it. Keenan, who is now my best friend, is going to get the car that I'm looking at. But this is the Venue. It's the Hyundai Venue. How stinking cute is this car, right? This is one that someone just bought. How cute is this? It's adorable. And the denim not only speaks of its color, but also its, what do they call it? When there's different levels of like details. It's the top in its class for the Venue. Oh, hey, how are you? All right, so you guys who are car aficionados There's a bunch of you out there who are like, not the venue, don't get the venue. I just looked at the Kona as well. They have the Kona Inn, which is like the top of the line for Kona. I really like the venue. The complaints that I find online, I did find to be valid, is that it doesn't have a lot of pickup. It's not a very fast car. And it's certainly not one where I'm going to be racing down, the highway, zipping through traffic. But that's not me. My driving style is defensive and safe. I'll go as fast as I can, but safely. So the venue seems fine for driving. I enjoyed driving it. And I had a wonderful conversation with the young man, Keenan, is that his name? His girlfriend is a flight attendant with Frontier. So he's going to sit down with me and look at some numbers now. All right, so I'll see you soon. I know I keep saying this is so nice, but I think his name is Keenan. He just sat down with me with literally a piece of paper with some blank spots to sit down and talk about numbers. It's just the most effortless process so far. We'll see what happens, because some things are too good to be true, right? But I keep looking at that Kona over there. And I was looking at the yellow one as well, because it would match my uniform. But so far, I gotta tell you, Henderson, the superstore, the Hyundai superstore here in Hyundai in Henderson, has been like top notch. So I'm super, super pleased. Oh, right, so they have to make money somewhere. So Kenyon, I think his name's Kenyon, just sat down immediately and talked about what numbers to expect. And the car goes for $23,710, and he's going to talk to the manager about numbers and stuff. And I understand this is part of the deal, and he's already warning me that there's a shortage on chips and cars and blah blah blah, and that they might mark the price up to like $31,000 versus $23,000. And I'm like, and then he tried to explain why that would be, and yeah, so I told him that would not be an option for me so far. So we'll see what happens. This is Vegas. We'll spin the wheel and see what happens. Well, as you can see, I'm walking along a highway. I didn't get the car. When I get home, I'll tell you all about that. In the meantime, let's look at something. Can you see the hills in the background there? You can see the implication that there are hills over there, right? Well, I can see them better in person, but do you see, like over there, that's Vegas. Vegas is in like a valley, it's in a bowl. You can't even see Vegas because of the smog. There's so much haze in the air, it's like literally smog. It's kind of gross. When the wildfires were happening in California, it was even worse than this. You couldn't see it. This is just solely smog. All right, I can't wait to go home and tell you what this process has been like. Week. Oh, here's the bus stop. Yeah, standing here in the sun is only making me more bitter about this whole process. I just got back from the dealership and I picked up some rolls, some cherries, some tomatoes, some asparagus, some garlic, and a little onion to make dinner and for some food tomorrow. I lay out my groceries after I come home so that the cats can actually sniff them and look at them, and they're always curious about what I bring in the house, so they get a chance to look at it, explore, and then I can put it away and they leave me alone. Hey guys, hi. I'm home. I'm a little discouraged. I went to the dealership, the Hyundai Superstore in Henderson. I went to that dealership today through a recommendation of two of my coworkers. And boy, oh boy. Okay, so I got there and you saw a couple video clips. I got there super excited because within the first 2 minutes, I was already in the car test driving it. It was very nice. The young man that I was helping was very, very nice. And we got back to the dealership. Kenyon, I think his name is, he brought over basically a sheet of paper that looked honestly like a math test for a second grader. It just seemed very simplistic with these, just a couple columns, a little few lines here and there. And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be a breeze. This is so simple. Oh, I'm so relieved. Well, long story short, the vehicle was listed at $23,710. It was, he told me it's really being marked up to $31,000. What? What kind of salesperson says, oh, the price is $23,000, but we're marking it up to $31,000 because there's a chip shortage? Does this make any sense to you? It didn't make any sense to me, especially since the car was manufactured before the chip shortage, right? Okay. So, and the vehicle had been there for, I don't know, it's a 2021 vehicle. They're getting all their 22s in now for other vehicles. They don't have a 22 yet in the venue. But I'm like, this car isn't brand spanking new, and yet you're still going to charge me $31,000. And he goes, oh, and there's a $2,000 protection plan that is attached that you're going to be paying for as well. I'm like, that seems really strange since Hyundai has the best warranty and maintenance plan coverage in the industry. Like 3 years, pretty much maintenance is covered, you know, most of it. And he goes, well, this plan is to protect, for example, he said, for example, if you're reaching into a car handle and your fingernails were over the course of the time you own the vehicle, they'll scratch the finish around the door handle, your fingernails, my talons. They're going to charge me $2,000 to protect the vehicle against my delicate little paws. I have fingernails, and sometimes they're too long, but they're made of paper. I don't know if you can see, but they bend. They're like paper. I'm not going to be scratching a car up with my fingernails. $2,000 they're going to charge me for this. Long story short, I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to pay $31,000 for a vehicle that's listed on your website right here. I showed it on my phone at $23,710. And then I'm not paying for a protection plan, which honestly, most of this stuff I would assume would be covered, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to pay it. I started off being nice about that. I wasn't being so flippant as I am right now because I wasn't as mad as I am right now. And so back and forth, I like, could you just get this number lower? I don't know what you have to do. And he kept asking me, well, what are the numbers you're hoping to see? What is it that you're willing to pay? What? This is a very different experience in terms of sales. I have sold everything under the sun, from shoes to elderly diabetics to hugely, ridiculously expensive engagement rings to a piece of a lapel pin that's like $150,000. I have sold everything from $5 pieces of cosmetics up to insanely expensive jewelry. I have sold everything. I've never once looked at someone and said, well, what's the price you're willing to pay? Blink, blink. So he talked to his manager a couple times. He talked to his manager, and the manager said, well, we can bring it down to the manufacturer's suggested retail price. I'm like, oh, gee, thank you, right? Yay. And I, whatever. Does the numbers, and the price is going to be like $400, almost $500 to lease a vehicle. To lease a vehicle that's $24,000, almost. They were going to charge me almost $500 a month to lease it. And that seemed exorbitant to me. I don't know. This is my first time, really, second time, talking to someone about a car. Is that unreasonable? Is $400 a month for such an inexpensive vehicle a lot? Is that too much? It just seemed like too much to me. Almost $500. And so back and forth with the manager. And Kenya comes back and he says, well, this is the price. Now it's almost $400 to lease the vehicle. And I'm like, Listen, I don't understand why it's almost $400. My understanding of leasing a vehicle is that the price is here, the depreciation price, which they know what it's going to be. They already have it written down. It's at 14,000 something. The difference is about $9,000. So my understanding of leasing a vehicle is I'm responsible for that $9,000 and taxes, which I'm only paying tax on the $9,000. I'm not paying tax on the entire vehicle in Vegas, in Nevada. And I understand that there are fees and paperwork and blah, blah, blah associated with that as well. So this isn't a free process. You're not a soup kitchen giving out free cars to poor people. I get it. But this is leaving like roughly $150 a month for 36 months that you can't account for or describe what I'm paying it for. He couldn't tell me. And I was getting frustrated. And he says, well, what's the price you're willing to pay? What? I don't understand. I really don't. I don't. I've sold everything from $5 pieces of no-name makeup with no brand name on it up to an insanely expensive engagement ring. I've sold ball gowns. I've sold everything except cars. I've never been able to ask them, well, what's the price you're hoping to pay? What would you pay for this? And I'm like, what I would like to happen is to have you talk to your manager like the 5th time and find out what the absolute lowest price is for me to be able to walk out the door with this car. I shouldn't have to tell you what the price is going to be. You know what the numbers are. I see what the numbers are. You should have an estimated amount of money that's going to be a profit to your company, and you want to sell the car or lease the car. Like, please talk to your manager and find out the lowest price it would take for me to walk out the door with the car. I would love to tell my viewers on my YouTube channel what a great experience it was getting a car here, how excited I am, blah, blah, blah. I was recommended this place by a number of people I work with. I would like to get a car from here. You saw how excited I was. I was practically walking on air when I walked in that door. You saw how excited I was. I would like to just be able to walk out with a vehicle. The lowest price, I would like to pay the price that gets me out the door. The lowest price that your manager is willing to let this happen for. Well, it comes back and it's almost $400. That they've brought it down like $70, something like that. And the sheet of paper he brings me that shows me this price, while he's talking to me, while I'm talking to him, really, because I took over the conversation, no surprise, right? While I'm talking to him, somebody over at the desk has been filling out this sheet of paper. So the manager comes over with this sheet of paper, and it says on the left-hand side is a column. It's been clearly understood that I want a lease. On the left-hand side is the lease, the breakdown. Still, that 150 that's like fluff isn't described there. But the number that I'll be paying, roughly $400 to lease the car. On the right-hand side of the column is if I were purchasing the car outright. So it's a loan for 72 months versus 36 months, of course. It would cost me $5 a month less to buy the car than it would to lease the car. Does this make sense? Does that make sense to anybody? Because it doesn't make sense to me. If I'm wrong or if I'm making like weird assumptions, please leave a comment. Let me know what I'm wrong. Just please be kind because I'm, a novice at this. But it's going to cost $5 a month less to buy the car than it would to lease the car. It's like $495 to buy the car. And I'm like, I don't understand. In my understanding, it's pretty much always less expensive, especially at this price point, to lease a car than it is to buy a car. What are they playing with? All right. The cats are playing with something on the floor. I don't know what it is. I don't want it to be my garlic. So it was just unsatisfying. It was, and then the last straw, the final straw, not that I needed it because I was already deciding against this whole thing, but the manager was like, oh, in this protection plan, apparently, this salesperson told the manager I was unwilling to pay for it, that we're not going to eat that Okay, classy move. We're not going to eat that, he says. This, that, and this, the other. It was already attached. We already paid for it, or whatever. And I'm like, I don't understand. You've had this vehicle on your lot for probably almost a year, a good part of a year. I just don't understand. You're marking this up. You're telling me you're going to mark something up. You're literally telling me to my face that you're going to mark something up to $31,000 over a $23,000 price point. I don't understand. And he said something, but I wasn't really listening at that point. I was gathering my things, and I walked out. So there goes the second experience in terms of this journey of buying a vehicle or leasing a vehicle. I'm not sure if I told you, I have been looking at my numbers for the past couple of days, I'd say a week and a half, 2 weeks. I've been really looking at my numbers and trying to figure out what I could afford and still not be like broke, and be able to put money aside for savings, because I'd have, overhead for the vehicle, gas, insurance, things like that. Plus, I want to be able to save some money for the house in case I need something, the cats in case they have a medical bill or something. I'm going to have some dental work done on the few teeth I have left over. I'm going to have some dental work there, and I'm going to eventually have to get another pair. I've had these for, I don't know, 3 years, and I think they have like a 5-year average lifespan. Blah, blah, blah. So I'm trying to think, like, what can I afford for a car payment and still be able to put some money aside at the end of the month and not be house and car poor. But I figured leasing a car, if I were to pay $300 or less a month for the lease, and then I would pay whatever I pay for my car insurance. But yeah, and the difference of $100 a month or $120, $30 a month shouldn't feel as big as it is right now, but it does in terms of what I would have left over after my month, after my expenses are over. Because I'm unwilling to always have to pick up an extra trip a month to pay for a lease. I'm unwilling to have to work that many more hours a month to afford a vehicle. I want to be able to be home with my cats, and be home to enjoy my house. Blah, blah, blah. So leave a comment below. I'd really be curious about what your thoughts are in terms of, are my expectations unreasonable? And I'm wondering why there is a ambulance or a fire truck parked out in front of my house. So I'm gonna go check on that. I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for being part of this journey. I hope this journey is less stressful than buying the house, but somehow I don't think it's gonna be. And I hear another fire truck or ambulance coming now. So I'm gonna go, just in case. Fly safe, bye.